All right, hey guys, crude oil, Sunday, March 12th, 2023. This is my personal trade journal, not to be taken as advice. All right, looking at the monthly, there's another strat setup on the monthly. It's the 50% rule. We had the same exact setup last month, but in reverse. That setup was to the upside and it failed. And now we've got a 50% rule set up to the downside as seen on the monthly. Here it is. Here's the March monthly candle. The reason the 50% rule is in effect now is because we broke the top of the preceding closed candle, which is February. We broke the top by a few pennies. Couldn't get any continuation, no traction to the upside. Immediately came back down and got below the 50% level of February's candle. And now we're bouncing. So the 50% rule states that if price can get below the 50% level, it opens the door to see the bottom of that preceding candle as long as it stays below the 50% level. Well, we've already crisscrossed that level several times in March. Now let's drill down to the weekly. Here you can see the whipsaw a little more clearly. On the weekly, here are the levels I was just talking about. Here you can see that a few times in March, the last 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks in March, we've gotten below the 50% level, but it doesn't really have any follow through yet to the downside, but it also doesn't have any follow through to the upside. We're just kind of chopping along and whipping along. You can really see the nature of the whipsaw is that we are all inside of the December price range. So all of this inside price action is just whipsaw. All of it defined by the range set in December. Isn't that wild? So, like 3 months, over 3 months now, of basically going nowhere for 3 months. Facts. Okay. So, 50% rule, it's in play. The line in the sand, well, not a line in the sand, but an important level to keep an eye on this week is 76.44. And of course, 80.62 to the upside with a target, regardless of how high this bounce goes, as long as we don't get above 80.62 and get back below this 50% level, the door remains open to see below 72.25. All right, so then looking at the daily, now you can really see the whipsaw. Here are the February levels that I was just talking about. Here's the 76.44 midpoint level. You can see we've crisscrossed it. This is the new high that we made, just ticked above the previous February high. Now we're in March. That gives you the 50% rule setup. We did get below the 50% level on this downturn. So now the question is, how high does this bounce go? Looking at the 4 hour, same thing. Look at these levels. Here's the 50% level. You can see we're kind of teetering right there, kind of crisscrossing it. And I know this chart is very busy because I've got this as a 1-2 to the downside right here. But I've also got this as a 1-2 to the downside because I don't know which one it is. It's a little uncertain. Let's drill down one more level and look a little more detail. So either this is the 1-2 here, which are these fibs, which either one of these ideas, whether this is a 1-2 or this is a 1-2, and if, by the way, if this is a 1-2, there's even a couple of options for that. Is this a 1-2 inside of this? In other words, this is a 1-2, 1-2 to the downside. Or is this just the first one and this wave 2 needs a bigger bounce as seen on these blue fibs? So if this is really, that's why I put alt circle 5. So maybe this is 5 down, but maybe this is 5 down. This would be a really shallow wave 4. This is an ideal wave 4 if that's the wave 4. So this could be wave 3. 4, and this is 5 waves down for wave 5. So if that's wave 1, then this wave 2 needs to come much higher as opposed to it just being a 1-2, 1-2. If it's a 1-2, 1-2, this really needs to be done, this bounce. So, and that's what I'm trading for, just because that happens to be the position that I'm in from getting short over here. And then I added to it on Friday on this bounce, which brought down my basis. I had a quite amazing entry, and now because I've added to it, it lowered my basis. So my current base is 77.08, which my intuition is that this is going to come up higher into these fibs, but my position is what it is. So I have a break-even stop at 77.08. I will take it off there, and then I will just be patient and see how this develops. Because the third option is that this just keeps coming as a bounce and can get all, I know you're going to make your head explode here, but it's possible that this just bounces all the way back up into this zone. It could happen. And that's why I'm taking off my shorts at break even, and we'll stalk short again, but look for more wave action to give me some help. But the main thing I'm looking at on the longer term is this 50% rule thing. So unfortunately, that's like an $8 range. So it's not like I can really trade it. It's just something that I have in the back of my mind. What I can do is follow these parameters. So if this is the top of this bounce, that would make me really happy. If this can get back below 77.4, yeah, that's wrong. It should be 77.44. Yeah, if this can get back below 77.44 and get some traction to the downside, that's going to make me really happy. So there you go. The good news is my stop is very near and it's break even, so my risk is commissions. There you go. All right, guys, that's all I got. Good luck.